Hi, I'm Jenny. This is our family pet. He's a cockatiel and his name is Scott. Since yesterday morning Scott was feeling unwell, I noticed some changes in him. His tail was slightly moving when he was breathing, sitting on the perch. His eyes were becoming drowsy and he wasn't as active as he normally is or eating as much as he normally would. He wasn't singing the way he normally would. It was more of just a low squeak more than a high-pitched sound that a cockatiel would make. I had some issues. I rang loads of vets and I could not get a vet to treat a bird. So finally I got through to a vet in Lakeslip, which is miles away from where I'm from, and they were closed, but thankfully, and I really appreciate, the lady vet gave me some guidelines of what to do with a sick cockatiel, and hopefully I can buy time with him until Monday, until the vet is open. So I'm going to show you Scott now, and you'll see I have a blanket at the bottom of his cage with a hot water bottle under the blanket, which is vital that the bird is kept warm when they're sick. It's really, really important that they're kept warm. When they fluff their feathers out when they're sick, that just means that they're fluffing their feathers out trying to keep the heat in their bodies, so therefore they're cold. If they are spreading their wings out a lot, that's when they're trying to fan themselves down. You can see he's picking at some little seeds that are on the blanket, so it's only the last hour he's actually picking at anything. He was completely dehydrated, and fluids is vital with a sick bird, and it's so hard to get fluids into a sick bird because they don't want to drink, and obviously the bird doesn't understand that they need to drink to stay alive. So I got this. It's they're lower light, and they're actually for babies, or adults or children of any ages, for if you have dehydration. And it was recommended, this is by a vet, that you just mix this as if the directions on the back of the lower light, mix it and with boiled water, and then let the boiled water cool down to kill any bacteria in the water. I got it really hard. I left it beside him when the water was cold and it was perfect with the Deloralite in it, and he wouldn't touch it, so I put some Deloralite on the spoon. As you can see, it's on the spoon, and I put it in the cage when he was playing, and I had to put some of it under his tongue to make him drink, and he did get some drops, so I stuck it in like this, and as he was climbing up and down the bars he was biting it, and I looked very closely, and he did actually get some into his system, thankfully. So since he's got the Deloralite into his system, I've noticed he's slightly more active. He has been. I took away all the perches in his cage in case he falls, because he was losing his balance. He had loss of balance, drowsiness, a complete change in his personality, a complete change. I've just kept him nice and warm there, and I've put a blanket up over his cage here, and he has his Diloralite in here in his water, and some seed if he wants to pick at some seed, which he has been doing the last little while. And I'm going to tuck him in now and see. This is the only home remedy that you can try and do to save your sick bird. I'll just show you, he's spreading his wings out now. He's picking at some seeds. He's becoming slightly active, and his crest on the top of his head is flat on his body. He seems to like the blanket though. Oh, it's heartbreaking seeing him like that. It really is heartbreaking. You can see his eyes are drowsy, so he needs a good sleep, but he is warm and as comfortable as I can get him at home. That's as comfortable as I can. So I'm going to just pull down the blanket that's over his cage, and that will help to keep the heat into his cage as well, and it'll make him feel safe. So I'm just going to turn off the light now. Fingers crossed now everything's going to be okay. Just another thing I would recommend. He has always been healthy since I got him, and we changed his food just for a variety. We got it from a pet store, and it was a big bag of food. And I'll actually, one second, I'll show you the type of food it was. Actually big seeds, if you can see them correctly there. Big seeds. And they actually look quite dusty. The girl in the pet shop said they were fine, but to me they look kind of like bird seed that you throw out to wild birds. So don't be fooled by deals or whatever people try to offer you in a pet store. And I'll show you the seed I'm actually using. This is the seed I was using, and I never had any problems with the bird. I also have budgies as well. Never had any problems, so I recommend that you use a good brand seed. It's worth it. And also with the water bowls, when you're changing the bird's water every day, don't just pour out the water and pour in fresh water. Actually clean the bowls in a sink as if you're doing dishes and dry them properly. Make sure everything is spotless, because birds pick up bacteria very quickly and it's very dangerous if they do. So just be kind to your birds. Good night. Won't stop.